What effect do you think switching from your normal diet to eating completely plant-based vegan style for 5 days can do to your cholesterol? And in turn, if you were to add back meat for 5 days after that, what would your blood work look like? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I've always struggled with cholesterol as far as when I wasn't on medication back in the day. My cholesterol levels were as high as the mid 300s, which is ridiculous because I am typically on a, you know, routine as recommended diet and workout program. I work out at least 5 days a week doing weights and cardio. My diet, is usually lean meats, chicken. I don't eat too much red meat or anything like that. A lot of vegetables, typical whole grains and everything like that. And even with that and no medicine, I'm around mid 300s on my cholesterol, which, at the time, a couple years back when I got that tested, was just ridiculous. But after that, I saw a lipidologist who recommended some different statins for me to sort of help get that down. And even on the medication, with a decent recommended average diet with meat, vegetables, well balanced with everything, and being on the medication, on the diet, with the exercise, my levels still never really dropped under the mid 200s. And if you know anything about cholesterol levels, really the recommended amount of cholesterol, total cholesterol, is going to be under 200. And so here I am, a younger guy, eating right, exercising, doing all the right things, even on medication, and I still do not have the levels of where I need to be out of my cholesterol, which is really a direct reflect of, what my health looks like and what looks like is going on inside of my body. Because, obviously having more cholesterol in your body floating around, can lead to plaque buildup, so it can eventually lead to, cardio diseases, and cardiovascular diseases and different things like that. It can build up, it can block arteries, it can cause strokes, it can cause heart attacks, all these bad things in your life. And for me, it's a scary thought, and I've tried all kind of different things. Even recently, they sort of released this miracle drug that is sort of an injectable where you do it every couple weeks, and it's supposed to be the sort of best cure-all, but you're going to be doing an injection for the rest of your life to try and get it down. And it's something that I had looked at, but just the thought of doing that really made me sick to my stomach, to think that I'm going to be on this injection for the rest of my life. And I just started to think, there's gotta be a better way. And it just so happened right about within the last week and a half or so, me and my wife Audrey actually sat down and we watched some different documentaries on a plant-based diet, and kind of all the benefits of how eating more plant-based, eating fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, root vegetables, all these different things, whole grains, things that are more natural, has a positive effect on your cholesterol as far as lowering it down, but also many other benefits as well, with reducing inflammation, giving you more natural energy. And so all these things, I've actually suffered with that as well too. Is being a young guy, I still feel like my energy level isn't as high as it should be, or it really needs to be. I get to the middle of the day and I feel sluggish, I feel tired. A lot of times I feel like my workouts aren't as good as they could be, even though I'm going at it every single day. And so with that, just being frustrated, we sat down, we watched these documentaries, and really learned some really good nuggets, and got super excited about it. And so we got so excited that the next morning we decided, hey, we're going to go ahead and not eat meat starting now and give it a shot for a little while. Well, that led us to going to the grocery store and picking up a bunch of plant-based, vegan-style diet items to basically stock our fridge and to start eating that way. And a couple days in of eating this way, we decided, hey, let's take it to the next level. Let's actually do a 90-day challenge of vegan, plant-based for 90 days, and let's see what the results would be from the beginning to the end on my cholesterol levels and my overall health. And so here it is, a couple days into eating plant-based, and we decided to go ahead and get a baseline to actually, on my blood work, to actually start the 90-day challenge. And so what I did, I went out, got the blood work test. All right, everybody, so I'm out at LabCorp today, and since we're going to be starting a 90-day challenge here shortly to see what a vegan diet, a plant-based diet will do to my cholesterol and just my overall health and how I feel. So I'm here at LabCorp to actually get my blood work drawn. So this morning we did our measurements, I got my weight, kind of some baselines on those things, but now we're going to get some blood work done to see actually what my cholesterol is today before officially starting this plant-based diet, and also to see if, if I'm borderline for diabetes or if I have any other complications going on in my body as far as red flags, things that might be elevated. And so the blood work is going to show us exactly where we're at. That way in 90 days, if not before, I'm considering doing maybe in 30-day segments of actually getting it retested. But I want to keep an eye on exactly what the plant-based diet is doing to see if, without being on medication, if it'll actually lower numbers. I know for sure my cholesterol can come down, but we're going to see if there's any other numbers today that I need to be working on. And so this blood work test today is going to show me exactly what I need to be working on, and is going to let me know from today to the end of 90 days how much improvement, if any improvement, is by doing this plant-based diet. So I'm excited to get the blood work done today, and just excited to go through this whole experiment and to hopefully just get off medication, and if anything, just to feel better, because even on the medication I still don't feel like I have a lot of energy, and I still feel bad, and my numbers still aren't even below where they need to be. And so my goal is to get off the medication and just to overall feel better, have more energy, and enjoy life. All right, so let's go on in and get our blood work. Looking forward to getting the results tomorrow. We're going to get it online. I did it through a program called Pixel, and so I actually be able to pull it up online to see all my results that came from the blood test. And so I'm excited to see that, and so now we're going to go get started on diet. And to my surprise, the blood work came back with my lowest cholesterol levels I've ever got in my entire life, and nothing else changed. Still on the medication, still the same, everything else in the diet was the same, still exercising, nothing else had changed except the fact that I took away all meat and all animal products, and my numbers went from the mid 200s to 182, which is just blown my mind to think that only a couple days of eating plant-based could have that dramatic of an effect. And so now it got me thinking, well, instead of just jumping straight into this 90-day challenge of just continuing to eat plant-based with such good results in only 5 days, I want to make sure that it was the meat that actually lowered the cholesterol, and that my body all of a sudden didn't just change. My body chemistry didn't just all of a sudden change and start releasing or not producing as much of the cholesterol as far as having it build up in my bloodstream and everything like that. And so what I decided to do is instead of jumping into the 90 days of straight vegan style dieting, is to actually introduce meat back into my diet for the next 5 or 6 days, and then retest my blood work again to see if my cholesterol actually spikes back up. Because if it does spike back up, which is what I am predicting will happen, then that means that cholesterol is directly tied to meat consumption. All right, so I'm actually going through the drive-thru here at Pita Pit, which is one of my favorite lunch spots. And my usual here that I get is a Southwest chicken pita. Now, with a usual diet, usually a chicken pita with vegetables in it, just a wrap, I'm not getting chips or anything like that, is a really healthy meal. And for an average American would be a really great healthy lunch. And so that's something that I'm going to try today, as this is my first meal going back to eat some meat after not eating meat for about the last 6 or 7 days. And I have actually felt really, really good since not consuming meat. And so part of me doesn't even want to go down that road again, but I am curious to see what eating meat for the next 5 or 6 days will do to my blood work, because I'm going to add back meat and not change anything else that I have going on, and retest my blood work to see if it was just the meat that was causing my high cholesterol levels. And so this is going to be the start to find out if meat actually makes a difference in your cholesterol which can truly make a difference in your overall health and well-being. And so we're going to put that to the test over these next 5 or 6 days. You know, I'm not planning to go out and have pizzas every single day or fried chicken or anything like that, but having lean meats or meals, you know, basically just like the pita pit that I just picked up, that is a lean wrap with chicken and vegetables, and it's not a bad meal. And so I'm planning to eat like that for the next 5 or 6 days, just decent, balanced, you know, good average meals like that, not going to McDonald's every day, not trying to sabotage the results. And so I'm going to eat good for 5 or 6 days and get the blood work redrawn and see if my cholesterol spikes up. And so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. But regardless, whatever that happens to do in the next 5 or 6 days, I still plan to continue and start my 90-day challenge of actually eating vegan or plant-based for 90 days. And I'm going to retest my blood work every 30 days throughout this process and see what is happening inside my body. And what I'm going to also do is I'd like to actually get off the medication for the first 30 days and see how I look as far as cholesterol levels with eating plant-based for the first 30 days with no medication and being on a full plant-based diet with no meat and no animal products. And so this is going to be an exciting journey. And to be honest, you know, over these next 5 or 6 days, going back to eating meat, everything that I've learned recently about eating meat and just animal products in general, and how, you know, animals are so mass produced and farmed, raised, and all these different things, the antibiotics that they're pumped with, you really start to realize how unhealthy a lot of meats are. Now, there are healthy alternatives out there, or better alternatives as far as getting grass-fed beef and, you know, different things that like that are more organic meats and more natural. These animals are under stress, which then basically goes to you, and all the nasty things that are inside of them that goes to you as well from these farm-raised animals. And so, you know, I'm just going to eat good for these next couple days. But honestly, I really don't even want to go back to eating meat because I'm so disgusted by the whole process of how meat is handled, and, you know, just all the things that they're pumping in this meat that we really shouldn't be eating, and it's just not good for our bodies and really just causes disease and sickness inside of us. And so I'm excited to get on this journey, but this next week of eating meat, not too excited about actually eating meat, but I am excited to check my blood work again in about 5 or 6 days and see if my cholesterol in fact spikes back up. And so I'm heading back into LabCorp today to get another blood test drawn. So if you've seen my last part of this video, you've seen that I've got my blood work done after about 4 or 5 days of eating completely plant-based and vegan. Well, after only those 4 or 5 days, my cholesterol, my total cholesterol dropped so much. It dropped from around 240 or so to about 182 just in a couple days of eating plant-based and vegan diet. And so what I decided to do is go back to eating meat products, regular meat and byproducts, for about 4 or 5 days, and I'm retesting my blood today to see if in fact the meat is impacting my overall cholesterol. And I wanted to do this before I jumped into a full 30 days of plant-based vegan diet. And so we're going to do this as another baseline today, just to sort of prove that the meat is affecting the cholesterol and that there were no other factors in that equation. And so we're going to do that today to rule out everything else. And then today we're actually going to get started on our 30-day challenge of eating completely plant-based and vegan, and actually getting off the medicine at the same time, to where I'm not taking any statins, but eating a good diet, plant-based, vegan, and continuing to exercise. And we're going to see if I can keep my total cholesterol under 200, which is a reasonable range, at least for me anyway, by just eating plants and keeping a good diet. And so this is going to be very exciting, and so let's go on in and get that blood work done. All right, so just stepping out of LabCorp, got my second round of blood work done with eating meat to see how that changes my levels, which I'm really thinking is going to jump my cholesterol back up into that 230, 240 range. But we'll get the results tomorrow and we'll see. Guys, I just got my results back here today. And so taking a look at these results, my cholesterol only went from 182 to 189, which really for me is very, very minimal as far as an increase in cholesterol by adding those meat products. And so it's sort of leading me to believe that, you know, the animal products seem to be affecting the cholesterol a little bit, but it's not as drastic as I originally thought. And so I am curious to see though, because, you know, with it only going up about 7 points or so from what it was previously, 5 days on plant-based, I'm wondering what's going to happen if we continue on this vegan challenge that we want to do for 30 days to see what eating plant-based for 30 days will actually do to my overall levels as far as dropping them down. So we could see between these two tests that there is a correlation between the meat actually raising the cholesterol slightly and eating plants actually decreasing it. Now, looking at both test results, if this is, you know, the lab work and everything else is accurate, it tends to look like the plants drastically decrease your cholesterol, and by adding the animal products, your cholesterol only slowly raises back up in reaction to adding back those animal products. And so, you know, at this point, what I'm thinking, my hypothesis is that if I was to continue eating animal-based products for the next week, 2-3 weeks, I believe my cholesterol would slowly creep back up into the mid 200s with exercise and also taking the statin to what it was previously. But with the plant-based diet, I am assuming that my cholesterol, which is currently 189, keep in mind a week ago was 182, I believe will actually drop under 182, and I believe it might be substantial to drop even more after 30 days of eating completely plant-based and vegan. And so the next step in this process is to put this to the test and see what 30 days being vegan can actually do for my overall cholesterol, which is really a good model of what my overall health looks like and what's going on inside of my body. This is a very exciting experiment, and I'm looking forward to the next 30 days of what eating plant-based and vegan will do. I'm excited to see what 30, 60, and 90 days will actually do to my health and my blood work. And so continue to watch, join the Facebook group. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button below, ring that little bell so you can get some notifications. Leave a comment about what you think about a plant-based diet, or maybe you have some things to add to me that can help me on my journey. And as always, just get out there and continue to build your empire.